In this video, we are going to be looking at round and flat characters. Any text, whether it's a cinematic text or whether it's a linguistic text, will always have characters, right? There are characters. Plays have characters. Films have characters. Stories have characters. Novels have characters. Now, there are two kinds of characters. um, let's look at the round ones. So let's understand the flat ones first. So the flat ones would be two dimensional, who are relatively uncomplicated. You can just pin them down, you can reduce them to two or three adjectives. Like, for instance, if you look at the Mahabharat, and if you want to consider Duryodhan's character, he's aggressive, he's a bully, he's influenced by his uncle, and he seeks to be the king. I mean, that's about it, that's how much you can describe Duryodhan, at least the way Mahabharat comes to us, or the way Mahabharat is narrated to us. So he becomes a flat character because we hardly get to see any other side to Duryodhan. We don't get to see any act of kindness, maybe, except for the one occasion when he befriends Karna. But that too, perhaps he has his vested interest because he finds in Karna someone who can rival Arjun's archery skills. So that is a possibility. But Duryodhan comes to us expressly as a flat character. Uh, from the beginning to the end, if you look at Duryodhan's childhood, his adulthood, and then, of course, when the Battle of Kurukshetra starts, there is no progress, there is no development in his character. He behaves in exactly the same manner. Every time he conspires to kill the Pandavas, right? So, from beginning to end, it's just this one facet of Duryodhan, or one aspect of him which is visible to us. So, these are flat characters who do not change throughout the course of a work. On the other hand, if we have to talk about round characters are like human beings, because you can't say any human being is completely bad or completely good, right? So you can't look at humans in terms of black and white. Humans are in the gray area between, right? You will have a human being capable of kindness and capable of cruelty, depending on the situation they are in. So if this kind of character, um, if these traits in a character are reflected in a text, then that character becomes a round character. So, in other words, round characters are complex. They undergo development. So, you can see initially they might show one kind of dominant trait, but then they may show something else. So, for example, if you look at Mahabharat and if you look at Krishna, the Krishna who you see in Gokul and Vrindavan is very different from the Krishna who is a politician and who is a strategist, right? And who is a planner. And then the Krishna who offers his counsel to Arjuna in the Battle of Kurukshetra. So, there's a whole complexity and depth and texture and multiple dimensions that keep getting added to his character. Uh, Another example I would like to give you is that of Othello's in Shakespeare's play by the same name, tragedy by the same name. So, Othello, initially we see him as this very dynamic sailor who is widely traveled and who keeps coming to Desdemona's house, who has long conversations with her father in Venice. And Desdemona, of course, is fascinated by this exotic looking man and who has traveled the world, and she falls in love with him. And Othello is also very deeply in love with her. He's a very sensible, very kind hearted, very empathetic young man. But later, we see how his character undergoes a transformation, and how, from all of that, he shows another side to his character also. He starts believing that his wife is unfaithful. He is taken in by his own friend who is conspiring to destroy his career by poisoning him against his wife. So we see Othello's weak side also. So it's not just that we get to see his good qualities, we also see that he has certain flaws, like he's very gullible, he believes people very easily, he gets taken in very easily by mm whatever story, whatever conspiracy theory his friend comes up with, as in when his friend turns him against his wife, and it goes to such an extent that Othello kills his own wife, he murders his own wife. He is that obsessed with jealousy, and he's been beguiled, convinced to that extent about his wife's infidelity, right? So if you so there's this whole transformation, there's this radical shift in Othello. So he's a very well rounded character, but in the end we again feel bad for him because we understand that he's a victim of circumstances. So that's the beauty of creating round characters, that even if you're portraying their evil side, even if you're portraying their negative side, they still deserve our empathy, our compassion, because we know that they are not inherently bad people. They have acted in a particular way in a particular circumstance, right? So there could be these dimensions to a person, and when those dimensions, when those facets come across, when they come through, that is when the character is supposed to be a round character.